Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. I just want to pop in real fast, um, and give you guys a little, uh, let you guys in on a little bit of something I was thinking about. So yesterday, I jumped on a panel, um, the woman's perspective with Sister George and Concrete Rose, and they were talking about, they were asking the question if, hey Saida, if older, if older women were sabotaging younger women, right? So I was listening to Clouds, and I think that they weren't, in my opinion. Hey Aries Queen, hey Koja, in my opinion, I don't think that they were necessarily saying that they felt like older women were sabotaging younger women. And I'm assuming they're talking, maybe online and offline. I'm thinking, um, I don't think they felt that way. I just think they felt like when it comes to some conversations, maybe between older women and younger women, um, they felt like I really can't speak for them. I can only speak for what I feel about it, right? So I also heard another stream where a older woman, because if you're in your 40s now, according to let's put this in the context of YouTube, right? According to some of the men on YouTube, I believe they say when after you when you reach the age of 25, you hit the wall. And when they say hit the wall, they mean hey everybody that came in. If I didn't speak, let me do that now. I know I spoke to Saida. Hey Irish Queen. I know I spoke to Koja. Hey B Boo. How y'all doing? Right. So everybody, thank you. Please hit the like button. Right. So yeah, so according to the men, or some of them anyway, when you reach age 25, you've hit the wall. And what they mean by hitting the wall is that, I guess you're not, young and young enough for some of them, because some of them, I mean, they like girls. So from some of the disturbing things that I've heard, they like teenagers. Okay, and so that is just like, yeah, how weird. It's just a whole bunch of weirdos, right? So anyway, they were having a discussion. Um, and let me talk about it from my standpoint, because I really can't speak from somebody else's mindset, even though I tried to at first, but I can just only speak from mindset, right? I can, and then when it comes to my mindset, I'm speaking from a matriarchal standpoint, because I've told you guys that I have many young women in my family, right? And so, when it comes to the question though of if I think that some older women are sabotaging. Thanks for becoming a member, Coach. I appreciate it, love. Thank you. I don't feel that from a matriarchal standpoint, when it comes to the younger women, whether I'm speaking to younger women online or offline, I don't think that I am sabotaging any type of younger woman for any choices she's making. I can only speak to them from a matriarchal standpoint, right? And because I was young once, and like I said, according to these guys, after age 25, you hit the wall anyway. So when you get to women talking about, or younger women sabotaging older women, and they're in their 40s, I'm kind of confused by that. So if you're following what the guys say online, technically you done hit the wall, right? So you're technically not a younger woman. So are you saying that, like, what reason would you be saying that? I guess I don't know. I've been confused by a whole lot of conversations sometimes, especially when there are women, speaking on other women. Now, men, I don't value anything that they say on on these social media platforms, and but unfortunately, a lot of women do. And I don't value anything that they says, because there is not a man alive, online or offline, dead or alive, that can define womanhood uh to me, in my opinion, because simply because they have never been they have never been women, right? So okay, so how can you determine what age a woman hits the wall, or how can you determine whether a woman should wear a weave or not? How can you determine anything about a woman because your view is skewed in the first place, right? And so, especially if you're coming from a patriarchal standpoint, right? So, but when it comes to women, asking a question such as, are older women sabotaging young women? And then there are a lot of generalizations that be made, and sometimes I'm a kind of stickler for generalizations. That's why I always try to say some, because we are not a monolith, and we all don't even online. We all don't think the same. Like what why would we even be on here? Um, sharing our opinions and life experiences if we were all made the same, right? Hey Trinity, how you doing? And so, because we're not a monolithic people, we're all entitled to our own opinions, right? And I respect that, right? So this is my opinion. When it comes to and according to the conversation, let me get back to that yesterday, which is a really good conversation. If you guys haven't seen the woman's the breakdown of woman's perspective, Sister George and like I said, Concrete Rose, their channel. It was a good video yesterday, and like I said, I hit the link because I thought it was a good conversation. They're trying to compete the competition. It said women help create their vote. But Coach, I kind of agree with that, and let me tell you why I kind of agree with that. Because I don't think that when it comes to older women and younger women, there should even be a conversation about competition, especially coming from older women of a certain age, right? Like women, if you're over the age of 35, right? Why would you even be having that conversation? Now, I do believe that it is possible that some older women feel like they are in competition with younger women, and that's for a myriad of reasons, you know. But my thing is, if you are a woman that is comfortable with your own skin, you realize early on that there is no competition, right? You are the queen in your world, right? There is no competition, and the only competition that you have, should I say, is with you becoming a better you, right? For whichever way you choose to become a better you, as long as you know that you are the only one competing against you, you know what I mean? You'll be okay. I don't have, but there are some women are very catty about a lot of things, and I heard a content creator speaking about looks, you know what I mean? And I have never been that kind of woman to focus on another woman's looks. That's just not me. And like I said, some women do, but if you are confident in you and you are only concerned about you, you realize that you are the only competition for you, right? And so that's the way I look at life. I have never been that type of person to where I feel like I need to be in competition with anybody other than myself, and so that's just how it is for me. You can take it for whoever, whichever way you want to take it, but there can ever, never, ever, ever, ever be another me, And so anyway, and hey everybody that came in the room. So, but getting back to that question, I think that if there is a competition between some older women and younger women, I think that is because the lines have been blurred, right? Now, used to be like take when I was younger, there was a clear distinction between older women and younger women, right? But now the lines have been blurred because you had a lot of I think there was like an explosion. Like, hey George, how you doing, girl? Thanks for that. Thanks for allowing me up on your platform yesterday. And so I think that, like I said, I think that when I was young, when I was in my 20s, there was a clear distinction uh, for a lot of reasons when it came to older women and younger women. Like for me, it was a clear difference between my mother and myself, my grandmother, and my mother as well. But I think that the lines are being blurred today for a couple of reasons. Is because I don't think that as women we have to work, particularly black women, right? Thank you, George. And particularly black women. We know that at one point in time in these United States of America, it was really rough on black people in general, right? Men and women, to make the most minimalist of wages, right? So women had to do women and men, they had to work harder, which they were stressed out, trying to take care of their family. Hey, Atari, how you doing, love? I'm glad you're on here, Atari. I am Alice in Wonderland. I'm glad that some of you younger women are on here, right? Because I'm glad that some of you younger women are on here because I don't want you to think that all older women feel like they are in competition with you or trying to sabotage you. Moreover, not even the competition as much, but sabotage. That's not a sabotage, jealous, envious. Those are not good words when it comes to, and they do create division, like Koja said. And this is why I'm doing this video from a matriarchal standpoint, because I have a lot of younger women in my family that I only aspire to uplift and protect, via my wisdom, and help in any way I can, right? Because like I said, you live, you learn, you grow, right? And how can you even learn anything about life from a personal standpoint if you've never gone through anything? I feel like the purpose of us going through things, especially hard times in our life, or hard problems, right, is so that you can grow from those experiences, right? Now you do have people that don't grow from those experiences, right? Some people say, for instance, that with age comes wisdom, right? I have learned that that is not true for everybody. Which age does not, with age does not always come wisdom, and that's unfortunate. You know what I mean? And so yeah, but that's true. So okay, so child, I read off. I done got our way off the subject, right? Let me circle back around, child. Let me circle back around. When it comes to the blurred lines, what I mean by that is what I was saying was at one point in time, there was a clear distinction between older women and younger women. Partly, and partly, I believe is because, like my grandmama, for instance, I'm sure she had to work at life harder than my mom, right? So when my mom had me, she didn't have to work as hard as my grandma worked, right? So I became an adult and I didn't have to work as hard as my mom or my grandmom, right? And for that reason, I think that that coupled with the fact that during like, I'm gonna say maybe especially the late 70s from my understand, and the 80s, or maybe the early 80s and the 90s, there was an explosion of single motherhood, right? And the reason why I bring up that is because a lot of women were having, children earlier, right? They were having them really young. So when their kids became adults, they were really still young, right? And so I feel like that started blurring the lines, if you will, because you could be 40 years old and you just look as young or younger than like a 20-year-old or something like that, right? So, and then if you're that way and you're single, right, you raised your kids, you're now in the dating market, you look like better, than some of the 20-year-olds, look, or y'all look exactly the same. It's hard to tell the difference. The lines are blurred, right? And so some of that, if you're, if you're, but like I said, you raise your kids, and maybe you want to have a relationship, whether it be a boyfriend or some other type of relationship, even marriage. That if you're in like after in the world like that, in the dating world in particular, I'm assuming, there would be competition. Whether you are all of the women around you are in your 20s, there still is, like competition, right? Because you're trying to find a suitable mate for yourself, right? But when it comes to the lines being blurred, with women, like say in their 40s, and girls in their 20s, and they're all in, they're trying to pick from the same dating pool. I imagine that would be competition, right? And because the lines have been blurred, women are looking and feeling younger. But science has a lot to do with it. Not having to work as hard has a lot to do with it. Um, like some of like I said, some of the hard work that our elders have to do, we didn't have to do, and even the younger people today have to do even less. That's got a lot to do with it. You got things today that are real popular, like cosmetic surgeries and all of this and all of that stuff. That has a lot to do with it. And so, but I, I, I don't know if I don't know if it is a good thing to just dump all of these women in the same dating pool, if you will. Um, because not only does it cause confusion and maybe jealousy when it comes to some women, and it's unfortunate, but some women are very catty along those lines. But the reason why it seems like it would be confusing to me is that if you're dating for the same pool of men, how like, does it give the man all the power when it comes to the dating scene as opposed to the woman? I'm just like real, iffy, when it comes to things of that nature, right? Right. Preconceived notion says I'm older and I'm not jealous of younger women. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Ruben. Anytime I can help, I help them along. That's right. I like the way you said it, because it is absolutely the way that I feel about that. All women don't feel the need to compete. Even if it's amongst women in your own age group, older women, especially when you get to the conversation of older women versus younger women, because that is really something that a man would say, when it comes to our older women jealous of younger women. That is something, for me, that is a very male mindset, because we know that as women there are many layers to us, right? And I would hate to think that if you've gone through all these things in your life, you will still be in a place to where you feel like you need to be jealous of or envious of or even compete with somebody that's younger than you, simply because you've gone through a lot and you've lived long enough to know who you are as a person, right? Now you do have some insecure women that unfortunately, when it comes to insecurity, some women never get over that. You have a lot of women that are very shallow, and so they will feel like they have to compete, against stuff like body type or stuff like that. I think that's why when it comes to cosmetic surgery, those surgeries are so lucrative these days. It is not until I got online that I realized how many black women were having these surgeries, like these butt implants. And there's nothing wrong with it, these butt implants or these breast implants. Like I said, I've gotten a whole education online, right? Because I didn't realize that as many black women were doing it. But see, part of the problem with that, I feel that it is a lot of that is pop, because of pop culture, right? You see these like entertainers, like say Michelle, right? She's done she had did a lot of body modifications, like as far as butt and breast and stuff. But now she's doing videos kind of advising women not to do it because she got sick, um from those whatever she was doing to her body, and it's not a good thing over time. So now she's trying to instruct women, like, be careful, when you're doing these surgeries and all of this and all that. It could turn out badly for you. I think the coach said, I think 3 or 4 women on my job have got surgery. Yeah, I don't, and I hate that society makes some women feel like they have to do something like it. like modify their body, but it's absolutely your choice. If you think it's gonna make you feel better, then okay, you got every right to do that. But I think that you should start with the inside first. You should actually sit down and, like maybe do a list, right? The pros and the cons when it comes to you. Why do I want to have this surgery? Do I want to have this surgery um, because I want to have it, not because I'm insecure, but because I want to have it. Do I want to have it because I feel like society is demanding me to have it? Do I want to have it to keep up with the Joneses? Do I want to have it just to appear more attractive to somebody other than myself? And I think that those are questions because those surgeries are serious. Like you can't undo to your body what's been done to it after you cut it open, right? And so right, or health, not talking about health reasons. Like I know some women that have had double mastectomies via breast cancer, right? And so they might want to go in and have a breast reconstruction. Now things like that, man, I can't imagine the conversation that you have to have with yourself. But if you got to feel like you got to do something like that after something like that, then okay. But just willy nilly off the riff, just cause I think you need to make a list. And so yeah. Oh, let me read this. Sweet Tori said it's a manosphere talking point when the older ladies warn the younger ladies to be careful. Men hate it. But now I think that I agree with that, Latoya, because a lot of men, they don't like when older women are warning younger women, right? When it comes to some of the ways these older guys try to play them, right? Because one reason some older guys love dealing with younger women because they know that these younger women are very inexperienced, right? And they know how to and it's easier to deal with these younger women because they really are nothing at all. But they are younger. Some younger women are very susceptible to sweet talk, right? And they know that all they got to do is shoot them a line of a line of a bunch of nonsense, whisper a lot of sweet, literal sweet nothings in their ears, and they will comply to these older guys. You know, and they know some of the older guys know that some of these younger women, they really are looking for a father because they didn't have a father in the home. So you have a lot of men that prey on younger women, and it's absolutely disgusting to me. Like on face, I mean, not on face, but on oh shoot, on Sister George's video, there was a guy that came up there talking about in the hood anything goes. And you seen these older guys like 30, speaking, talking to high school girls, and I had to step in. I was like, that's called hebephilia. It's a form of pedophilia, right? And so, but why would you even want to talk to? Because we know that the older person, if you are engaging in any type of sexual or romantic relationship with a teenager, you have all the power, which just means you are the predator in the situation, and it is something wrong with you mentally if you feel like you want to go be it man or you have to deal with a teenager and you are in your 30s. There is something wrong with you mentally, right? It's called hebephilia. Just absolutely just no, it's weird. So I believe I said that on the panel yesterday because I'm like, no, he didn't, and like he said it out of his mouth like it wasn't a problem. I'm thinking, you a whole hebephile. Are you okay? Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you not in jail? you know. And so, yeah, that's the way I feel about that. Y'all got me all off course right here. Those are McDonald's and really ups the girls. The men wanna train them to cater to them. See, oh yes, you're right about that QT one, because they know they can do that. With some younger women. And so yeah, that's just very predatory to me. And so yeah, and it denotes insecurity when it comes to them in my mind, because if you are so weak that you have to prey on a younger woman, right? And try to steal her youth because you are so insecure or so insufficient that you can't deal with women of your own age. In my opinion, that says a lot more about you than it does the woman, right? And so that is just very unfortunate to me, right? And so, yeah, and he's one of the good ones. Who, Aries? Who you talking about, Aries? Child, I probably done said somebody, I forgot what they said. We just said my dad married my mother when she was 15 and he was 27. I always thought that was wow, 15 and 27. Wow, wow. That's a lot. So yeah. My granddad was 26. My granddad was 16. Well, back in the days, back in the olden days, when people didn't know any better, that kind of stuff was commonplace. You know what I mean? It was but now we are more educated. We realize, a whole lot of things that we once thought that we once our community once thought was kosher. We've learned that it's not kosher. You know what? I misresearched to one that. Okay, Aries. Okay, okay. Yeah. We learned that things that our community once thought nothing of, like a 50-year-old or a 16-year-old marrying a 26, 27, 30-year-old person. We want some of our elders thought that was normal. It is not normal. We know that now. You know what I mean? And so yeah. And yeah, it's just not, and like I said, we live in a different world, in my opinion. And but there are a lot of men that seek out, younger women for a whole lot of reasons, right? And a lot of those reasons are very predatory. We got a whole lot of R. Kellys in this world. We just do, point blank, period. It's just how it is, and it's just ugh, it's weird. And and you got some women like that too. Thank God for the law, or men would still be. Well, I know that's right, Atari. I have to agree with that. My father was 1 year older than my mother, and when he married, the woman was 17 years younger than him. Wow, wow. I remember being in high school and girls dating men in their 20s. Now I realize how insane that is. If a woman married a younger man, she'd be wrong. Oh, that's true too, country girl. That's true too. That's true too. And but my question is too, why would she even want to? You know what I mean? So anyway, y'all made me fall off my chart. Reading these comments, I be trying to stay on course, and y'all be getting me sideways. But when it comes to the conversation, like I said, a lot of the lines have been blurred. I don't think a lot of women on purpose, I'm gonna say online, are trying to sabotage younger women. Some may be, but me coming from a matriarchal standpoint, because there are so many young women in my family, what I try not to do is I try not to judge. I try not to judge, but I still I think that after they have become adults, what you do before they become adults um is what my elders did, and that was try to make sure that I have a moral compass, right? Because even when they're talking to you and they're saying all this to you, when you're younger, before you reach adulthood, or before you get it, venture out into the world, like I said yesterday, even when I thought I wanted to go as far as I could go, I would stop. I would not go as far as I could go, simply because I had my grandmother's voice and my mother's, but moreover my grandmother's voice in the back of my head, imparting that wisdom to me. One thing that she told me was never do anything that you are going to be ashamed of, right? And so I got a problem with some women online because they say that they are wanting to, help like younger women, right? But what they're doing is being very judgmental, right? And I don't even know if some of them realize that they're being judgmental, but you have to ask yourself, why are you coming at these younger women in a way to where you're judging them? So are you coming at them in this way? You're calling them amoral because they're choosing to do things that you say you never would do. Now, why are you, like what, because my thing is you live, you learn, you grow, right? And so I'm especially not going to, whatever. I don't believe in policing a woman's body. I just don't. I'm in my early 50s. I don't believe in, uh, especially other women. Well, men don't even count. I don't know why y'all listen to these men. I can't. No, just idiots, a bunch of village idiots. But women policing other women's bodies, oh, it's kind of not cool to me because, women know how women move. We know that when it comes to this world, you have to move a certain way as a woman, right? And sometimes you have to go off the beaten path, right? It just is the way it is. So for that reason, since we know how we have to operate sometimes, being so judgmental is coming to me. It denotes insecurity. I said it before. I'm saying it again because I'm not supposed to judge you because I was young once. And like I said, when you live, you learn, you grow, right? So if you truly lived your life, when you were young, I believe I mentioned that yesterday. For a lot of women, see, I was kind of different because, like I said yesterday, I never had any children, right? And because I never had any children, even though I helped raise a lot of children, I still never had any children out of my body. So I've never given birth to any children. And so it afforded me to do. When I was young, I lived my young life. Do you see what I'm saying? And even after I got married, we were still able to do a lot of things that maybe we wouldn't have been able to do if we had kids. And so for that reason, when I got older, like I'm a little older now, I've never regretted not having to not getting to do something when I was younger because I did it all. I did everything I want to do anyway. So I don't you got some women that may have had kids really young, and like I said yesterday, but now they're in their 40s or something, and they want to try to, like relive, redo some stuff that they maybe didn't get to do. Um when they were younger because they had to raise their children, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I think there's just all in the way that you do it. You know what I mean? And and you don't do it under the guise of competition, in my opinion. You do it under the guise of, hey, I don't have any kids anymore. I'm about to live my best life. You know what I mean? And ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm living my best life. So you know what I mean? And so yeah. Yeah. But if you're bitter about, something that you didn't get to do, in your younger life, that some people would think that I am bitter because the only thing that I could think that people think that I would be bitter about is not being able to have children, right? But because it wasn't my choice not to have children, I've never been bitter about it. Now, when I was younger and I was trying to have kids, I was really, really sad about it. But bitter, no, I never. I was lucky. There are a lot of women that want to have kids and can't have kids, and then you'll see another woman over here, with 1 or 2 or 12 kids, and she treat the kids like crap. You know what I mean? And then you ask yourself, well, why in the world does this horrible person that have kids only to destroy them before they get young, right? You wonder about stuff like that, and if you don't check yourself, you can become bitter, behind, that train of thought, right? Because but then me, because I have 2 sisters, and honey, let me tell you something. Anytime I want a baby, all I had to do was go get one, okay? I just never had none out my body, right? And so the only thing that I hate the fact that I couldn't have a child at my body is because I couldn't give my husband a seed, because he is also a wonderful father. But we have been parents to many, right? So my grandmama, one thing that helped me not be bitter when it came to that was what my grandmother told me. and she told me that you don't have kids, your own children, because you are supposed to be a mother of many. That is why I named you what I named you, right? And I always tell y'all about my grandmama, right? My mama, best, nicest one. Look, I can never be as good woman as my mama, but my grandmama, yeah, woo, she was a whole piece of work. Lord Jesus, I love that old woman, but she was mean and surly, right? So anyway, she told me that, and that coupled with the fact that my sisters had children, and I've always helped, even my career, I dealt with children, and so for that reason I'd have to be bitter about that, and I was blessed in that way. But you do have a lot of, but even then, still back then, I'm too old to think about it now, but I had questions, like like I told you, I was a licensed clinical social worker, and I would go, but and I would go when I was working for the state. I would go out to these homes, and sometimes you would always see kids abused and the subpar living conditions. And these babies, these little kids, even teenagers, all they want is to be loved. And they didn't ask to come here. You know what I mean? And you just be shaking your head like, wow. You know what I mean? Because you got people like me, and I know that I am an excellent, excellent, excellent mother. Do you hear me? Thank you, Bee Boo. Excellent mother. It's just that I never gave birth. But you be like, how do all of these women that have all of these kids that don't even want them? You know what I mean? Why is it that they get to have them and you don't? So yeah, and then some women become bitter behind it, but me, I was blessed. So that's not my issue. But for some women, yeah, it could be, because you got a lot of women, like I said, they had all these kids. They never really, they felt like they were an inconvenience, right? Or they got frustrated with them, right? Or just whatever the situation is. The whole thing is just darn if you do and darn if you don't. I don't know, right? So, but yeah, yeah, it's just crazy. I done got on my beaten path again. I don't know how I got on that part right there, but like I said, when it comes to the whole misdirecting younger people, I would hope that there are not any older women out there. Now online, it's just as online to me. It's like never gonna change. I don't, you have to eat the meat and throw away the bone, right? But what is good for you, you intake it. If it sounds like it's gonna be bad for you, don't eat it. Just throw it away like it's a bone. You know what I mean? And then you also have to realize that you have to take what people say online, a lot of it with a grain of salt, because we don't actually know. Now, some people know, people online, but for the most part, I like me, I don't know anybody online personally, except for my niece. That's the only person like I actually know offline. And so for that reason, you always have to be leery. Nobody's mouth is a prayer book. You know what I mean? And I hope that everybody, that listens to me, just don't take everything I say like it's gospel, because we are all human, and we are all infallible, and we see the world via our own lens, right? We see the world through our own eyes, right? And that's what you have to think about. I don't like, because there are a lot of people, older and younger, that take a lot of stuff that people say, they take it as gospel, and that is unfortunate to me, especially when it comes to women, and listening to some of these men. Because, child, I got triggered yesterday on Sister George Power, because it's some guy that came up, and I had never heard of him before, right? And he was speaking about a welfare state, and then he turned around the welfare state and baby mamas, and then he started talking about uh uh black women not having as many babies as they used to. They're having more abortions. And I told them, I was like, look, you can't have it both ways. You got a problem with them. And we see this online all the time. You got a problem. You want to call them baby mamas and all of this and all of that, right? You've been doing it for 20 or so years online, 20 or more years online. And now that black women are choosing career and education over families, now you got a problem with that too. You know what I mean? And that is why, like I said, a lot of this stuff, pretty much all of it, you need to take it with a grain of salt. Because if you're darned if you do, and you're darned if you don't, when it comes to these men's, right? Even when it comes to them trying to dictate your body via, you dress like a hoe, or you can't practice hypergamy, or you can't do this and you can't do that. Yes, I was talking about the guy. I had never heard of him before creating solutions. His ideas are archaic. I was like, oh my God. And I was absolutely triggered by the guy. I'm like, is it for real? Chad, oh. And what triggered me creating solutions was when he said, when it even comes to marriage, right? He was like, well, a woman's place in a marriage is to keep her man's balls empty and his stomach full. I was like, oh my God, is he okay? Child. Ooh, I could not believe that stuff was coming out of that guy's mouth, right? And so it was just unfortunate. I don't know, but I was absolutely triggered by that man. I couldn't believe he said that. And then after that, a younger one, that's what he said, Sayu the girl. He said his bowels empty and his stomach full. That like if you are married, that is your job as the wife. And I'm thinking, clearly this guy has never been married. He's probably not had a lot of luck with even like girlfriends or whatever. And oh, was that you created solutions that called him out? Was you the young lady? That called him out? Okay, good. Okay, good. Because that's a whole weirdo. And if you're that young lady, I want you to listen to me. When it comes to marriage, a lot of younger people don't see the value in marriage, right? And I had never heard him before, Tori. I'm like, ugh, is he okay? Is he a whole caveman? A Puritan, a pilgrim? Like what? What in the world? It's just disgusting. And so I don't want you to think that if you choose to get married one day, it being married is like a life of servitude, right? When that's what I mean by some of these men coming on here and warping the minds, corrupting the minds of not only men but women, right? Because it's not about servitude. It's not about keeping his balls empty and his stomach full. Girl, that is so lame. Now, when it comes to black people in particular, what we or it is not a good thing to practice patriarchy when it comes to um relationships between a man and a woman, between us black folks, right? It is always better, instead of practicing patriarchy, which is what he was talking about, it is better to practice reciprocity, right? You give some, I give some, we work together, right? And because in any type of relationship, especially a romantic relationship, you should not try to the man should never try to insert his dominance over the woman, because the woman is going to rebel, right? You're going to end up by yourself, old and alone and ready to shoot up subways and stuff like that, right? Which we know many of, we saw one recent weirdo from the manosphere that done that, right? And so it's just disgusting. I'm like, he said what? I was like, ugh. But I'm glad, I don't want you to think that that's what it's about. You know what I mean? It's about reciprocity. You do for one another, right? And I heard you speaking about, well, I mean, I want to be loved. I want to be appreciated. And that is absolutely what you are supposed to expect. That is absolutely what you are supposed to, demand. And if you are in any type of romantic relationship with a man, whether you are married or it's your boyfriend, whatever it is, you also you are absolutely deserving of love and respect, and honor. you know, and you should, give that to your significant other as well. Like I said, it's about reciprocity. It's not about patriarchy. It's not about submission or domination. You know what I mean? And that is not reality. And I think a lot of these guys get on here spewing all of this nonsense, and it really is unfortunate when you have a lot of young people that maybe they came from a broken home, right? And maybe they don't, and maybe they were raised in a dysfunctional situation, right? And they can think that some of that stuff coming out of some of these people's mouths is the way relationships are supposed to go, and that is just not the truth, right? Yes, it is hard um to be married, but if your foundation, and it's hard to be married because sometimes we are all individuals, it's hard to compromise, right? Marriage is about compromise, number one. But if love is your love, more than love, respect and love is your foundation, you know what I mean? You can build upon respect. You have to have a respect for, because how can you even truly love me if you don't respect me as a human being, right? If you don't respect me as a human being, right? How can you even love me? How can we build any type of foundation with one another? And if you love and respect me, you will not try to assert any type of patriarchy or dominance over me, because I am a female, because I am a woman, right? And so, like I said, when it comes to relationships, what you should practice is reciprocity, not any type of dominance or submission, right? Because the stuff is weird, and it's hard enough the other things that you have to deal with in life when you're having a relationship, especially now. You can have a boyfriend, for 20 years, and y'all can live together perfectly fine, but after that 20 years you figure, before I die, I'm gonna wife this woman, because she done put in the work, and I'm finally gonna marry her, right? And then look, a year into y'all being married, after 20 years of being boyfriend and girlfriend, you end up getting divorced. You know why? Because that ain't nothing but the devil. That's all it is. Now, while you were not joined in marriage, you were just fine, but all of a sudden you get joined in marriage, and then time to go. That's crazy. And so yeah, but that's just life. But no, you want to practice Saida said marriage is a partnership. You both should be working right together towards your goals with trust, respect, and commitment. You're absolutely right, Saida. You know what I mean? Because I tell you guys all the time, it's not the be all end all. Marriage is being hard, but I sometimes I do fail to realize that my marriage is grounded in respect and love. Do you see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we petty around here. Sometimes, especially when we were younger, we done had to go through marriage counseling 3 times, but that is because we are very strong-willed people. We both fought to hang on to our own identities, right? And when you don't have something in the way, like children, you know what I mean, you are always, you just really got to find something to get on somebody's nerves with, right? And so, but the foundation, and I don't always say this, is love and respect, right? Because I could never be with somebody this long if they didn't respect me. Hey, food junkie, how you doing, love? If they didn't respect me. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And it's about, like I said, reciprocity. And you have to, and you can love somebody and not like somebody. You know what I mean? I like my partner. I like my man. I like him. I love him and respect him, but I like him. I like his company. You know what I mean? And so that goes a long way too. And so, but I don't want you to think that, when you get married to somebody, you gotta be only thing you gotta be his handmaid, right? You gotta keep his balls empty and his mouth full. I was like, what? Child. Child, these fools with these fanciful notions. Child, I never. I was like, what? I never heard such. I said he is. I told her before I left the panel. Your ideals are your train of thought is absolutely archaic, right? I mean, like, are you a caveman? I'm like, ugh, was he for real? I'm child. Anyway, oh, and something else that he said too. He said it's something about, I guess if you are considered, a loose woman or maybe a baby mama or whatever it was, you need to have the Scarlet Letter A put on you. I'm thinking, was he for real? That was just a book, right? Did you guys have to, it was required reading when I was in high school. We had to read the Scarlet Letter, you know, in school, and it was about a woman that pretty much had an affair with another man, and she was married, and they put a Scarlet Letter A on her, on she would have to wear this Scarlet Letter, this red letter A on her clothing, right? And I seen a movie one time to where they went deeper than that. They carved the letter A, the Scarlet Letter A on her forehead. You read the book in school, Candy Girl, yeah. You know what I mean? And Allison, absolutely. They carved in her forehead, right? Because they felt like she was a demon, because she dared to, love somebody other than her husband, and then she had this affair with this man and all of this and all that. So he feels, so the trucker guy feels that, like, if you have a baby out of wedlock, and you're not married, or you're considered a quote unquote baby mama or whatever, you need to have that Scarlet Letter A branded on you. And I was like, huh? Huh? Yes, it's absolutely by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Absolutely, absolutely. I was like, what? It's just like, you hear a lot of scary things when you're on these panels, and just like, some of them want Sharia law. I mean, I'm thinking, do you understand that Sharia law not only, binds the woman, it also binds the man, because just like a woman can be killed for pretty much anything that the man say shames her, or shames his family, that's the same thing that can be done to a man under Sharia law. So I mean, and then some guys, they feel like the only way that they can, feel like secure in a relationship is if the woman submits to him or whatever. Well, that denotes insecurity. It means that you are not strong enough to deal with your woman. You are not the head. In order for you to feel secure in a relationship, you have to require that I be submissive to you. That means that you are weak. That's what that means. You know what I mean? And so it's just weird. It was just weird. Some of the things coming out of these guys' mouth. There was something. What else happened? I heard something else. Oh, I was listening to I mean, some of these guys, see, like I said, I don't like when people are so general, and I like to use the word some, right? I'm gonna say some, not all. But some of the ways some of the guys think is very scary, and y'all need to run. You in danger, girl. You in danger. Okay. Y'all need to run. I don't care if they just online. If this stuff is coming out of their mouth, it's in a train of thought. So, proceed with caution, right? And so, something else that I heard. How long I've been talking? I've been trying to keep us under an hour. But something else that I heard was, I forgot whose panel it was. It Amiri's panel or D. Durrell's panel? Somebody panel where that BGS, they was coming at BGS, right? That's right, Atari. Run, child, run. You better run for it, run. Okay. Some of the crazy things coming out of these fools' mouths. I'll be like, no, no, ma'am. No, no, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. But anyway, he was saying something about, because we know it's black women. Black women have a lot of political power right now, right? Really, well, I'm not gonna say, black people as a whole, men and women in politics don't have any real power when it comes to politics, but there are a lot of black women that are more visible when it comes to politics these days, like a Stacey Abrams, or the judge. Oh Lord, I forgot her name. The judge just got appointed to the Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown. You have a lot more women that are visible, right? So he was talking about where the women have all this power right now politically. What is she doing for the black man? Why aren't she giving some of this power, making a way for the black man to have some of this power? And I'm thinking, was hey for real? So this woman done work hard. Let's take Stacey Abrams, right? Stacey Abrams is at the top of her game, so she done worked hard. So you want Stacey to relinquish her, her power when it comes to politics. You want her to hand it over to you, but she the one done worked for it, so you can have the power. But you want after she done work for the power, hand it over to you, and then you want her to turn around and submit to you. But you didn't do anything in the way of trying to garner any type of power for yourself, and you're the man. So she got to do the footwork, pass it on to you, and then she got to submit to you. But she the one that garnered the power in the first place. I'm thinking, huh? Girl, it's just all kind of nonsense, right? It is not our job to, that's right, it is absolutely not our job to empower men. That doesn't make sense to me. It's just like it doesn't make sense to when you hear them talking about, well, she won't let me lead. Well, honey, if you need permission, you're not a leader. Okay. Right, QT1 says sounds like pimping to me. Exactly. I was like, child, you live in Georgia, Stacy is beast. She was feet on the once she feet on the ground. Feet on the ground. You're right, Nappy Storm. You are absolutely right. I love Stacey Abrams. I sure do. I think she is an awesome woman. Like I really do. You know. And so, yeah, but I know I was all over the place, guys. I just didn't want you. I don't want there to be a narrative being spun, of that, especially coming from women, some kind of divide based on age. I don't want younger women to think that all older women, are jealous or envious of them, or trying to misdirect them, or trying to sabotage them in any way. Because like I live my life, I live my whole young life. We live. I lived. I learned. I grew. I'm still growing. You know what I mean? And but if I could say something along the way, they could help some young woman. Like I do. I don't know about online, but offline, I'm considered the cool aunt, right? Because my nieces and my nephews know that they can come to me and they can ask me anything, and they need help. I'm gonna help them. But what I don't want to do is beat them over the head with a judgment. That's what I don't want to do. Because like I said, we live, we learn, we grow, and through your experiences, that's how you grow. You know what I mean? Especially those hard lessons that you have to take. Those are the ones that you are supposed to grow most from. Because I've told you guys that I have been baptized through fire a couple of times, and what I mean by that is that I have gone through some hard things in my life, and hopefully, I have become wiser because of those hard times, right? Because I don't know about somebody else's life, but my life has not been a fairy tale, and I would be lying if I say it was. Now, I don't know anybody's life that is a fairy tale, but online, some people's lives, they want you to think that their lives are fairy tales, okay? But that is not me. I'm not that person. Right? I am not infallible. I do not have a halo over my head or none of the above. Life is hard, but God is good all the time. That is the lesson that I learned. That is the lesson that I learned on a continual basis. Life is hard, but God is good all the time. Right? Because if it wasn't for Him being good, all the time, I would not be here in my right mind talking to you guys right now. Trust me when I tell you this, okay? Rochelle, hey Rochelle, Rochelle says, there shouldn't be a divide. However, because so many younger women are in this sector, many mature women bend their standards to be accepted. Well, Rochelle, I agree. And that's a problem when you do see older women that are bending to be accepted by younger women, and I don't understand that, but okay, to each his own, but okay. That's not me, but okay. Child. Avis says, I have a 28-year-old daughter. I would never give black women bad. Absolutely, absolutely. You know what I mean. And I don't. That's why I don't believe in that whole policing the body situation thing. It's kind of, it's unfortunate to me because, like I said, if you live, you learn, you grow. And in this day and age, I would not. Let me tell you something. I would not want to be a young woman or a woman of any age having to deal with the dating pool in this day and age. I would not want to be a woman, young or old or middle age, or whatever you want to call it. When it comes to the climate of dating, when it comes to some of these male slash men, right? Because you never know, child. I don't know. It's like some men and some women, but it's a lot of men that they what they call, like Russell Wilson, right? They call him a simp because he loves Sierra, right? You can tell that man loved that girl, that woman to death, right? You can tell like he's really in love with her, but for that reason, he's ridiculed. He's ridiculed. He's got a black family. They are a beautiful couple. You can tell that he really loves her. She really loves him, but he's a simp. He's frowned upon, because Sierra had a child by a whole breeder by the name of Future, a whole dusty Negro, right? And so, but because she leveled up, because she wanted more for herself and more for her son, because she came with a package. She has a son. She had a son that is not Russell's, and he accepted the son, as his own. And now they have a beautiful family. But a lot of that right there is frowned upon. I think it's frowned upon a lot, because it is so hard for people to connect these days, and I think that is unfortunate. You know, that's just sad. Not being able to connect. But I mean, you have to kind of have to, have good communication skills. Don't be afraid. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. You know, But I tell you one thing, I feel like it's a lot more older men on here trying to give younger men bad advice, as opposed to older women giving younger women bad advice. I think the men do it more. Like I really do. I think they do it more, you know. This is how I see it. And so yeah, it's just unfortunate. I don't know. But anyway, that's my hour. Y'all somebody hit the one. If y'all want me to drop this chat, I'd be more than happy to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up here and share. It's fine with me. You know what I mean? I love to hear your opinion. I guess the one question that I would have was, do you think that older women are, willfully trying to sabotage younger women because they are jealous or envious or whatever? Do you know, or do you think it's some kind of malicious intent going on? Just because I don't see it don't mean it's not going on. But I would just hope that that's not like widespread or rampant or anything. Out there. See what I'm saying? I know that's right, Rochelle, right? Honey. Mm-mm. 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 I'm making bad moves because I'm chill. I love to hop on. Oh, but you know me. Okay, okay. Thank you, Ava. Younger women do we know sabotaging on their own? Oh, you mean by sabotaging themselves? Yeah, yeah. Mm-mm. Yep, I have to agree with that right there. Mm-mm. Yeah, but anyway, uh, Black Magic said yes. Yes, you want me to drop the link, Black Magic, or you just saying yes because you agree with what I was saying? Because like I said, I would love to hear what some of you ladies feel about that. Because I don't think that they are willfully doing it, but like I said, I think that there's an overlapping of cultures. When it comes to cultures, you know, and so yeah. Mm-mm-mm. But I was really inspired by that video yesterday. The Sister Georgia Concrete Rose did, because there was a very good live stream. A lot of good questions were asked, and so yeah. Cause if we look at you and mom, both you are married. I said yes, because okay, thank you, Black Magic. When they sabotage themselves or living their lives, yeah, that's true. It would be so. Yeah. I agree with that, Aries. Aries said, let me read this again. Are they sabotaging themselves or living their lives? Right? That could be said for us in the younger days as well. I agree with that, Aries. I agree. Uh-huh. I agree with that. Okay, Otari. Older men trying to sabotage younger men. For younger women, they shouldn't be preying on competition, right? Mm-mm. Let me get this for Otari. Um, Hold on, guys. I'm trying to copy the link. Um,